Stuart, I have a question, Bob Sink.
Yes, Mark.
What is the best way for me now to relax my throat chakra, to allow the energy to move more smoothly?
Well, the best way is to simply continue the process of working on yourself till you develop a chakra system that allows that energy to move. It's the best way. I mean, there are no shortcuts in all this. The shortcut is the development of a chakra system. That's the shortcut. And that takes time. And, that takes time. So I'm not sure what the best way, though, is. The best way for me was continuous practice of inner work over years. And I don't even know when this level, this is ridiculous here. I don't even know when this, transition even took place. One day my life was just different. One day my life was, on a different kind of level. And it was only after continuous depth of inner work, over years that made this possible. Going through all kinds of situations. I mean, I went through a 10-year period that was literally like the book of Job. I mean, I literally had just about everything taken away from me, except my connection with God and Rudi. So it's time, it's perseverance, it's doing it wisely and intelligently, working on yourself to build a system inside yourself that's strong enough to be able to make that kind of transition. And then it happens organically. It's not something you can, diagram on a blackboard. And, if I do this, it just happens. One day your whole life is different. But different in a very unique way. You could be doing the same job, the same family, the same friends, yet something inside you has attained a different level of consciousness, the way you interact with the job and the family and friends, and the quiet inside, the calmness in the mind, the heart open, being centered, grounded inside yourself, being able to master the chaos, the internal chaos. How it happens, there's no answer to that. It just happens because one has done the work. And then you move to a whole different plane of consciousness in yourself. You just wake up and your life is different. So if there is a best way, it's really doing the work. Finding what works for you and then doing it. Finding what really works for you. And then doing it as consciously and as deeply as it's possible for you to do it with a commitment, that really opens a person in such depth inside that their whole life gets transformed. And as I always say, it's like that Japanese Zen saying, before enlightenment, carrying water and plowing the fields. After enlightenment, carrying water and plowing the fields. The only thing that's different is yourself. your internal life. Now, sometimes people spread themselves so thin with teachers and this and that, that they don't focus on one particular work that will really get them their enlightenment. I mean, I was very fortunate. I mean, Rudi told me early on in my studies with him, he said, you will never need another teacher. He said, I will give you everything that I have ever learned. Told me this many times. And when he passed on, I went to other teachers, but his teachings stayed with me, and I understood. I had found a source of energy, a source of teaching. I had found a discipline, a craft that really works for me, and I'm going to do it. I'm not going to putz around with other things. I'm going to do it without procrastinating, without putting it off, and I'm going to do it. And it certainly didn't make for a fanatical life. It's been a really interesting life. I mean, look, traveling, I probably have traveled more than all of you together, In India 40 times, Brazil about 20 times, Israel, God knows how many times, Europe. I mean, the life has been one adventure after the other. Even this Zoom thing is, for me, an adventure. I mean, you have to realize there were almost 70 people in class today, in these classes. I mean, it's extraordinary. It's an adventure. This means I have to grow. I have no choice in doing these classes but to apply Rudi's work deep inside myself and to grow. And I love it. I've been doing it all my life, and I love it. I need to grow. I have not arrived yet. There's no deep sense of perfection in me. I mean, I have to continue to work in order to get free of Stuart so I can get closer and closer to God. And the universe provides. If work brings more work, it does. But I was fortunate. I had found what worked, and then I didn't putz around. I said, okay, this is something I had never experienced before. I never had done anything like it. And nothing ever changed me as much as Rudi's meditation practice. And I didn't putz around, I just did it. I said, why putz around if you found something that really works? No, it doesn't work for everybody. It really doesn't. Otherwise there'd be 8 billion people sitting here. God forbid. But if it works for you, you have to do it. You can't, well, I'm going to try this. I'm going to dabble in this and that. And, before you know it, you're too old to do anything. And when I was very young, I was 25 years old, and I said, I never found anything that works like this. And I applied it to my life every day. Now, again, I'm not saying what I do is for everybody. I'm not saying what Rudi does or did is for everybody. But if something works for you, don't take it for granted. Use it to grow. And if you do it that way, then these transitions happen. One day you wake up and your whole consciousness is different. You see the world in a different way. You're looser inside. You're not as tight. You're not as wound up. Your mind is quiet. Your heart is open. and you can function differently. Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Bob. Bob, you've been doing this long enough that you're ready to truly attain what I'm talking about. I mean it, Bob. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Hi, Stuart. I have a question. It's Paula.
Yes, Paula.
The energy is always extra special on this day. I'm so grateful. And it's another layer of dimension and just deep, deep, profound love. And I just was going to ask what it feels like, Rudi's energy coming through you on this day, because I know for me just how amazing it is. And so if you could just share your experience.
I can tell you very simply, Paula, without the energy of Rudi and Nityananda and all of the teachers that created them, I could never do what I had to do this weekend. This weekend has been so powerful, so deep. I am just a different person now. I completely transformed inside myself. But it was the energy of Rudi, the energy of Nityananda, the power of the weekend that totally changed me. And I needed that. How else can I deal with the intensity of these classes and working with so many people? I need to go, to the teachers that make that possible. I need to go to the source of energy that makes that possible. That has changed me. This weekend, I have really changed. I don't know how else to explain it, except that's what it is. And I relish this. I need tests like this. I need to have growth. And that's also part of Rudi's work. It's growth, both internally and externally and in every way, growth. I remember once, I'll never forget, when he came to Denton, Texas, and I had bought a tractor-trailer truck. I mean it, with a 40-foot trailer and one of these things you see on the highway, in order to run it with the business I was in down there. And one of my students got in the truck and, and Rudi looked with a big, that's growth. Just cracked me up. He liked bigness. He liked having the guts to really do in life and and he knew that in order to really do that without life sucking you dry, you had to go to God. You had to go to a higher force of energy to get that energy that enabled you to do that bigness in life without being drained. And I learned that early on. And I used to throw myself in situations that were impossible. Impossible. I mean, with his mother, when she, I want to sell you 2 truckloads of art. And I told her, Ray, do you know where I live? I'm living in the middle of Baptist America here. They'll probably, lynch me if they see this kind of art. She said, think, and I went and did it, put myself in debt for some huge amount of money. It enabled me to move back to New York. It enabled me to start a situation that just flourished endlessly in New York. But it was having the sense of being able to take care of bigger things in life and knowing where I had to go to get the energy to do it, where I had to go. And it wasn't out there, it was in here, connected to spirit. what this weekend and today means to me, growth. Seeing a vision for my future of the amount of work that I have to do, of nurturing people who are in my life, of helping people to become teachers of this work. You know, not making teachers, because you can't make a teacher. You have to nurture a person to where they grow and they become a teacher. Of continuing the amazing quality of this work. Weekends like this, stick it right in my face. And as I say, by the time today is over with, man, I am not the same person I was on Friday. And I'm grateful for that. I want to grow. I want to continue to grow. And I think now the growth is in doing spiritual practice, training people, growing that way. That's what I have to do. You know, I've done the other, for God's sake. You know, I've lived in mansions and had money coming out of the kazoo, and, you know, none of it made me happy. None of it did. Had all those things taken away from me in my 10 years of living in the book of Job. You know? But now it's simplified itself so that it can really grow in a way that really I was born here to do. But it took years and years of working on myself to get here. And it's simply because I'm 25 years old, I found this teacher who was the first person in my life who said, here's a way to do it. Here is a way to do it.
Thank you, Stuart. And I love that the picture of Rudi behind you looks like he's sitting on your crown chakra. I love it so much.
I have a big one like that. I mean, I'm talking, must be 6 feet high and the same picture. I don't know where to put it now. Maybe some point I'll have a place to put it. And somebody emailed me today, wanted a copy of that picture. I don't know, Bob, do you have copies of that picture? No? Okay. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? So God bless you all and thank you. And thank you for being in my life. I say it all the time. Every one of you is my teacher. Every one of you is giving me an opportunity to grow and expand myself and to tap energies that I never dreamed existed inside me. So God bless you all, and God bless Rudi Samadhi, and God bless the growth that hopefully will take place in all of us over the next year. And there'll be a class tomorrow evening. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. So bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart. Samadhi.